Obviously, this being the final game before you guys really embark into conference play this week. Just, I guess when you look at this team, you know, where it is right now, what are the, I guess, key areas that you think you guys need to, I guess, emphasize on specifically to kind of have a similar run that you had last year for that ACC?
Well, I mean, I'm not moving off of what I've said with this team from the beginning. You know, success or lack of success with this team is tied to two things: defense and rebounding. We can score, but can we become the best defensive and rebounding team that we can become? And when I say that is in large part the consistency. So, for example, they shoot 31% in the first half, and then in the second half they shoot 61%. Okay, that's not sustainable. And so, for us to be able to have success moving forward, not only do we have to become a good defensive and rebounding team, but it has to be consistent as well.
How close, I don't know if you put in percentages on things like this, but how close do you think you guys are to being, I guess, a team that can have a similar run, through ACC play last year? You mentioned the things you need to do. How close do you feel you are to, I guess, kind of being adequate in those areas?
Yeah, I don't look at it that way in terms of comparison to last year at all. I think this year's team is this year's team. The only thing that I focus on is that for this year's team to reach its full potential, and for this team to reach its full potential, we would have to be a really good defensive and rebounding team. I've been straightforward and direct with them from the start. I've also added one extra thing, and that's taking care of the basketball. We only had 7 turnovers at the beginning of the year. I thought we were number 1 in the country in terms of fewest turnovers, and if we take care of the basketball, we get shots, and we're a team that can make shots. And so those 3 things, defense, rebounding, take care of the basketball, it's something that I stress, talk about, emphasize every day, whether it's practice, shoot around, or even an off day.
Coach, go ahead. You mentioned Campbell's second half and their offensive production. But you guys, it felt like, what was the adjustment at half? But it seemed like you guys were creating more rim pressure in that first frame in the second half, and I feel like that just propelled you the rest of the way. Talk about how important it was.
Well, it is. Something that I say from an offensive standpoint every day is that I want to dominate points in the paint through post and penetration. I want to live in the paint, and I want to live at the free throw line. They can recite that because I say that to them every day. And so in the first half, we only went to the free throw line 8 times, but we had 17 threes taken, and we're 4 of 17. Okay, I love threes, but we have the ability to put max pressure on the rim, and I thought in the second half we did a better job of that.
And talking with a couple of guys about just that a few minutes ago, Jay Wash in particular said the inconsistency with post opportunities has a lot to do with the bigs not doing a good enough job to make themselves available so Elliot and the guys in the perimeter can see them. What is necessary for you guys to get to a point where there are a lot more consistent touches in the post where things can happen positively there?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that, over the last 3 weeks that we really emphasized that from an offensive standpoint, it's a part of our offensive game that we haven't been able to tap into, and that there are opportunities, whether it's in transition, any one of our half-court sets where our bigs are close to the basket, sealed, that we can't overlook that, and we've got to give them looks in the paint. When you do that, obviously it's a higher percentage shot. It gives you an opportunity to score in the paint. It gives you an opportunity to get fouled and get to the free throw line. And with the guards that we have, being able to get to the free throw line and knock down free throws is a huge part of our offense. And so when I say post and penetration, that's what I'm talking about. And that's an area that we definitely have to improve on offensively, is noticing, locating, and getting the ball to our bigs when they have good position close to the basket.
And staying on that, first 2 buckets, second half, Elliot to Jay Wash. The second one, you were pretty animated on Elliot, like, that's what I want you to do.
Yeah.
Is that what you envision this group being able to do a lot more consistently moving forward? And how much of that is also on Elliot or whoever's on the perimeter to see the bigs when they're open?
Well, it's also me too. I mean, the first 2 plays of the game I called specific post plays for Jay Wash, and so I'm not going to put it on them. I've got to do a better job of calling post plays specifically to get post catches and looks down low. Jay Wash missed a right-hand jump hook, but I thought it was a great shot. And so I've got to do a better job of putting them in situations consistently from the start so that we can establish the post.
Hubert, RJ was giving a lot of credit to Coach Paige for helping him reach new heights in his career and obviously break Marcus's three-point record tonight. What is it about the way Coach Paige has worked with RJ that you think has been so effective?
Well, I think it's always one. Coach Paige was a great player and he's an unbelievable person. He's done such a great job as a coach because he knows the game, but he's also able to communicate it in a way where it just resonates with the players. I think it also speaks to, Marcus is the youngest, so he basically just left. His freshman year was my first year as an assistant coach, and just the way that he communicates with the players and especially with RJ, haven't been in that position before. Both RJ and Coach Paige were, that's not my alarm, and are like combination guards. They have the ability to distribute and run the offense, but they can also score with the ball in their hands and coming off screen. So as players, they're very similar. And, when Marcus played, he was always on the floor with other guards, Joel Berry, and so now with RJ on the floor with, Seth and Elliot and Ian, there's a lot of similarities in their career and what they've had to do out there on the floor.
With Seth sitting out, was that just a precautionary thing for today?
Yeah, he just has an upper body injury, and so he was unable to play today.
Is that something he picked up in practice?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Is there like a time when he might be?
Nope.
Okay.
No, there isn't.
RJ said tonight that he's felt a lot more comfortable, like himself, going back to the floor again. And part of the sign of that we can all see, everybody else can see, is that there's more step backs. He's being able to create space for himself off the dribble more than he had been earlier.
Yeah.
What would you say about that? And have you seen a little bit of a different RJ in the last few games?
I do feel like he's in a better rhythm out there on the floor. And so I do feel that way. I feel like the last 3 games, he's finding his rhythm. He really is with a new lineup, and changing lineup too. I think one of the things that helps is just the growth of Ian. You got another scorer out there, and so when you have another person out there that can go get buckets, very similar to what he experienced last year where you had Cormac, Harrison, Armando, got a little bit more space to be able to get into his offensive game, and so I'm really happy for him.
Hubert, Elliot kind of talked about just the tough stretch that he had the past couple of weeks,
Yeah.
the high turnovers, and felt like he kind of got back to being himself a little bit tonight. Obviously, you're agreeing. I guess, what did you kind of see from him tonight, and I guess, what was that stretch like for him? You talking to him as a coach and a player, just what was that like?
Yeah, before the game I said I'm expecting a double-double in points and assists, and he says I'm also going to have 0 turnovers. And then at halftime, I reminded him he had 3. But in the second half, he had 0. And I was really happy for him. Just his ability to create and find instinctively teammates is elite. And I felt like he played really well today, like under control, but his ability to get to the basket, knows when to pass, when to shoot. And his defense just continues to get better every day, and I was really proud of him. He's a huge piece for us. When the ball is in his hands and he's making consistent plays, it takes us to a different level, and I'm really happy for him.
Couple more questions. A pair of free shoes, at least according to his words about maybe the deal about some free Jordans or something if he got to a certain number of assists.
Okay, done.
He said the play he made at the end of the game last week at MSG, the defensive play that he made, and how he was physical there, helped him a ton. That he needed to make a play without the ball in his hands to help the team win the game. It seemed like a small thing to a lot of people, but how big can that be for a young guy like him, who has been battling a little bit of confidence stuff, to be able to make such an important play like that?
I think that's huge. You know, we talk all the time about how small things make big things happen. There's so many other areas out there on the floor other than scoring and rebounding and assists that you can make a huge impact in terms of the outcome of the game. And so, you know, Elliot stepping up defensively, being able to get that stop at the end of the game against UCLA. It doesn't surprise me that it gave him confidence that he's a complete basketball player. There's so many other parts out there on the floor, even without the ball, that you could impact winning. And that single play gave us a win because of his ability to defend without fouling and be in a position to box out so that Drake can get the rebound. And so I'm glad that gave him confidence, and that's something that he can do consistently moving forward. He's that complete of a player.
Sorry, Coach. Thank you, everybody.
Okay.